From the creators who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing, this is World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the WoW Report on Radio Andy, where we count down the top 10 things that make us go wow! I'm Fenton Bailey, co-founder of World of Wonder, joined by Tom Campbell, our Chief Creative Officer.
Hello, Fenton.
And James St. James.
Give it to me. Go. Come on, explain me. Tell me about me.
My lodestar, my touchstone. You are also the editor of the WoW Report, it says here on this piece of paper.
I am, indeed.
And our extra special guest today, Nora Burns.
Hello.
You're in town.
I'm so thrilled to be here.
You're performing Unitard.
I'm doing Unitard this weekend at Casita del Campo.
That's right, Unitard Badassy.
Badassy,
Right.
baby. Yeah.
It's a wildly twisted take on everything annoying, amusing, and artisanal. You've got LA is artisanal, baby. You've come to the right place.
Unitard, for people who don't know,
Is
a comedy troupe
Yes, with
that has been around for
Legendary.
yes.
Thank you. Legendary. I like
Yes.
that. I like that.
And it contains it's you,
And David Ilku.
longtime
David
friend of
Will.
WoW, yes,
And Mike Albo. Love Mike Albo.
Yes, of course,
yes.
So, yes.
And we have known you, I think, collectively for about
for a legendary years.
legendary year.
Absolutely.
Yes, because I remember you way back in the day, back in the 80s at least.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yes.
this is Tom, and we're just meeting, so the jury's still out for me. Okay. So
can I,
be in your.
like-
Hands up the table. I like this lady.
But very quickly, too, if you don't know, Nora, you were also in the Nellie Olsons for many
Yes.
years,
Yeah.
and you are now traveling around, and you have been traveling for many years with a one-woman show called...
David's friend.
Which we're going to talk about
Later.
maybe
Later.
later in the
Oh,
show.
okay, yeah,
You know, it's a
totally.
countdown. We have to get to
But
the
you
mystery
should
number
Google
one.
you should Google the Nellie Olsons, right, for the people at home.
Yes, I'm sure there's lots of YouTube shenanigans.
They're probably, which is John Cantwell, Love Connie. was-
Yes,
was-
yes, okay. Another friend of ours.
CavernclubTheater.com for tickets. $20. Just $20 for
Just
the most...
it's like $1 a sketch.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to start our countdown at number 10.
Number 10.
I like to keep it light. I like to keep it pop culture, except for occasionally, like now. And I think we sat down to the table, coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
All right.
Nora's here. What do we all think? We're reading stuff. We're taking it in.
It's just the flu.
It's just the flu, says Fenton.
Juries, I refuse to get upset about anything yet. I'm too
Right.
upset about what's going on with our government.
I like that. I like
So,
that.
Yeah.
We're all gonna die! Oh my God! Any minute now.
I'll be addressing all this to James.
No. But the thing is, and I've been arguing about this all day with everybody who keeps saying that it's just the flu and don't worry about it, is there feels like there's a level of panic this time that's a little different it's the media, but it's also Twitter and social media and everything. And I think we have to be more worried about the panic than we do about the actual virus.
That's very true. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, people like you trying to get masks. For
I went
example.
to CVS last night to try and get. I went to 4 different CVSs. They all said it was at least 2 weeks before they'd get another shipment. I went on to Amazon and they're selling packets of 20 for $300, packets of 100 for $700. There was $6,000 for 1,000. I mean, they're price gouging already.
Can't you
and
just
it really
take some Kotex and thread?
Yes.
Now the Kotex are going to sell out. Thanks a lot. Now, James, I walked by your cubicle area, and I heard you say to Blake that he has to shave his beard.
Yes.
Why
yes.
is this?
Well, you have to.
And
shave
I have a
yours
beard too.
I know. Well, you're gonna die. You're on the first. You're the first to go because
I see one right there.
the CDC put out a infographic of different kinds of beards and mustaches that were allowable in the future when we're all gonna. And if you don't have it, you're gonna be taken away to a camp.
But
because
It's going to be terrible for bears. It's going to ruin
yes,
bear
well, it
week.
is, they said that it's going to kill hipsters first because the mask.
I'm worried about exposing my lack of jawline, quite
The
frankly.
CDC website says that a mask is only useful if you have it and to stop you spreading it.
Well, no,
it won't help you not get it.
No,
but the
respirator-
eyes, darling, it's through the eyes.
I know. I'm going to get. I'm getting a welding mask later tonight. The things, and then you put the respirator mask, not the paper
This is
one.
so club
It's
kid.
the red. It's true. Thank you. I've got
A
the
lunch
look.
pail.
In a sort of
Yep.
a silver hood.
If you're gonna go looking fabulous, James.
Have you seen the hashtag on Facebook, Wuhan Clan, of people with plastic bottles over
Yes,
their
I have.
heads and things like that? It's probably not correct.
And the
to say
thing that we have to be careful about, because I'll just say the elephant in the room is like when you see now the small like caveman sized pea brain of ours, when you see Asian people that sneak, like people
That's
get
the
nervous
problem,
and you
yes.
can't be prejudiced like that.
No,
right?
but that's what I'm saying. Where the panic is going to lead to all sorts of.
I love that people have been
quarantining.
writing on the masks that they wear, "I am not the virus." You know because there is this extraordinary outburst of Asian phobia.
But we also know that Trump is not prepared. He's gutted all of the Obama era things that were set into place. So there are going to be quarantines coming up, and this is
Now,
going to be
one
his
of our
excuse.
viewers complained about the fact that every episode we bash Trump, and
Yes,
you know who it
please,
was?
please.
It was Melania. She's a big fan of the show, but she hates when we pick on Donnie. Well, he put Pence in charge of this thing.
Yeah.
Which means Omarosa is busy. That's the good news. Omarosa must have another gig, but
there are
Like, come on.
700 vacancies at the CDC. 700 vacancies. And Obama created a whole program in anticipation of an Ebola epidemic to get different agencies and departments talking to each other, which Trump, of course, because he hates everything
that
Obama,
Obama did.
destroyed and took apart.
Well, I've said this before. Like a jackass, like a little donkey jackass, can knock down a barn with its rear legs. It takes an architect and constructor and planner to actually build a barn.
That
And
sounds like
Trump-
one of those Mainisms. Like
Yeah,
a true.
But
that
it
is what happens. I mean, the
He's-
Democrats come in and they fix all the shit that the Republicans have destroyed, and then they just get it done, and then boom, we get another
the
fight.
jackass starts kicking.
Yeah.
So coronavirus, I say go see it.
It's streaming on Netflix.
Yeah, coming to a neighborhood near you. God forbid. Of everyone.
Binge until you die. Okay, we're moving on. Number 9, James.
Number 9.
Number 9, I saw a gay slasher film over the weekend that absolutely rocked my world. It was the best thing I've ever seen. It's called Midnight Kiss. It's streaming on Hulu right now. It's part of an anthology movie series they do called Into the Dark. And it is...
Didn't you see a gay slasher? Isn't this deja vu? Having deja vu?
No, maybe I
Okay.
talked
Totally
about this.
different.
Okay.
No, it stars Scott Evans, who is Chris Evans, Captain America's gay brother, who was on One Life to Live. I don't know if you remember this. Okay, it also stars Lucas Gage from Euphoria and American Vandal, 2 shows that I've talked about ad nauseum.
Oh, I love that show.
Thank you,
Love
so
that
good.
show.
And Chester Lockhart, who is an Instagram queen, who was our the Wowies Award.
He's Dance with Todd. He's been on many episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race
Really
as the
fabulous.
assistant director. Anyway,
He plays an over-the-top gay influencer, as he should, and he gets murdered by a champagne bottle shoved into his mouth repeatedly and then spread glitter all over his bloody body. It's really fabulous. The plot is 5 queens every year for New Year's Eve go to Palm Springs, and they stay in this really fabulous house that looks just like yours. It's very strange. And they go to a club every year, the same club, and they play this game. And at midnight, they have to kiss a stranger and take him home and have sex with him and then kick him out at 7 o'clock in the morning and never see him again because they're all really incestuous and they've all slept with each other. So they have to get somebody who's outside of their group to sleep with. And this time, a serial killer sort of invades their group.
kiss of a serial killer.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he's in this sort of S&M outfit, and he's sort of walking around the house, and he slashes everyone. Whenever he slashes them, he sprinkles glitter on them because they're gay.
Oh my God!
And
it's like Saw for sissies. I love it.
It's Saw for sissies, exactly. And it was created by Carter Smith, who is a British fashion photographer for ID magazine and Vogue and W, and he's so everything is really like the color is really fabulous and saturated, and the club scenes are all really fabulous. And every time someone dies, they're always like in their underwear, and it's like a crotch shot as they're being strangled, and their crotches going up and down in the air. It's a lot of fun.
So it's a movie.
Yes, it's a slasher
Feature
movie,
length, yeah.
feature-length movie, and it's every trope that from every horror movie you've ever seen, but gay. way.
You haven't spoiled it, thank you. No. But I have a feeling that you're the serial killer. Am I right?
Well, that's the whole thing. Yeah, like you're trying to figure out who the serial killer is, and you think you know who it is, and you're like, it's so obvious.
don't
Oh my
tell.
god. But then there's a switcheroo.
I love a twist. I love a twist.
And it's not the person that you think it is. So
Yes.
it's not well done at all. But it's but it's fun to watch and it's beautifully
Is it fair
shot.
to say it's low budget and they did a lot
It's
with it?
very low
So,
budget.
so Midnight Kiss is one episode.
No, it's just one. It's one movie. It's just a movie.
it's an
Okay, so what's
anthology
Into the
of-
Dark is
They do movies every month. They
I
do
see.
a different
Horror
movie by a
movies.
different person. Yes.
I got it. Okay,
Yes.
fabulous.
I think, James, you watched that one, so I don't have to.
No, I think you'll like it. I think you will.
All right, number 8.
Number 8.
I'm not only the hair club president, but I'm also a client. Do we all know that? Do we know that reference?
Yes.
Cy Sperling died February 19th in Boca Raton, Florida. He was 78 years old.
Young.
And he died with a full head of hair, I imagine.
Well, right now the thing of the hair. I mean, I remember the ads.
The
He
late
was-
night
And
commercials.
he'd come out of
yes.
the pool. And,
Yes.
yes.
It was
Uh,
basically one of the first late night commercials of that was sort of like campy like that.
Right, well, it was Frank Perdue of Perdue Chicken, Victor Kayam of Remington Products. These
Yes.
were spokespeople.
I like
for-
the razor so much I bought it.
Yes, yes.
I bought the company.
That's what inspired him to do the ad. And in fact, what I didn't know was they did 2 ads. They did one that was much more sort of, I guess it looked like the cute Menendez brothers riding around with a sort of full head of hair and doing athletic things like playing golf, playing tennis, swimming.
Yes.
That was the
Like
Why
Original
you went
straight.
to the Menendez brothers? I have
I-
no
No,
He
idea.
always does.
Okay,
Every
it
other
was
show.
It was just that hair, that hair of then that 80s period,
Yeah.
that sort of big poodle on
Right,
your head
okay.
thing. That was the look.
I loved that
And-
hair.
Well, there you go. That's why. And that was the main ad. And then just as a goof, they just did one with him. And they put out the main ad, and it tanked. No one responded. No one was into it. So they was like, oh, well, okay, here goes nothing. Let's just run the other ad, the one with him. And it became this overnight cult sensation.
I'm Cy Sperling.
Well,
and
exactly.
I remember
I'm not-
being in
Like
the
I've
clubs every
fallen and I
night, and we
can't
would
get
all,
up and-
yeah,
yeah.
and we would all just repeat those lines to each
He
other.
had no training as an actor.
Really?
Surprise. Son of a plumber from the South Bronx. Reciting his memorized lines to the camera, but it was the winning kicker. It was like,
It was. I'm not just the president. I'm a client too.
it reminds me of Where's the Beef?
Yeah.
I was
Clara,
just going to say, do you
right?
remember a limelight party for the Where's the Beef?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
More details. Everyone
Clara
dressed like
Peller
her.
was her name.
Everyone dressed
Yes.
just like her. She came.
But I
she
think
came,
Michael
she
Musto
came.
championed her, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then also remember Dude, You're Getting Adele.
No, I loved
Yes.
it. Well, he
A little bit later.
a little bit later.
Right.
Right.
90s.
Yeah.
What other great catchphrases?
I love all of the
Lose weight with AIDS. Remember that?
I love all the
No.
countdown record things. Like there was a
K-Tel.
and there was a Connie Francis ad where it was the same. I only know all of her songs from that one ad. Like,
Yes.
everybody's somebody's fool. And then my happiness, lipstick on your car.
Okay, we won't do the whole.
Yeah.
We have
the whole
time.
thing.
We have time.
But wait a minute. No, you don't remember AIDS candy that it was weight
Yeah,
loss
yeah,
candy?
yeah.
Right,
They take it off the market.
Right, they
With
took
a
it off
Y.
the market.
AIDS with a Y.
And now we're gonna have to get rid of Corona beer.
But the
Oh, my
other thing that
Stick a lime in it.
yeah, takes away the virus. It'll be fine. Listen, I think though there's actually a deeper thing here because I think his saying that, I'm not only the president, I'm a member.
Right.
It was a kind of coming out thing. It was about being seen and being identified. And male baldness really was a thing of shame. And he turned the thing of shame into an ownable thing where it wasn't.
The shame was a wig. The
Well,
shame was a toupee.
Okay, yes, fair enough.
And he
yes.
said, I'm bald, which is embarrassing enough,
Right.
but I have a hair system.
But it was also
Right.
democratizing it a little bit too, because it was a time when the rich and the poor were very separated.
Bing
but
Crosby had a wig, but the rest of us didn't.
right?
Right?
Right.
But I'm saying it's the gays. He owes it all to the gays.
Of course he does. Why?
but talk for a minute.
Because the whole movement of coming
Coming
out,
out.
he decided, oh, well, I will come out as a bald man. I mean, because it is that sort of coming out of the closet that is...
That's a documentary, coming out but
Wow.
other things.
Yes, there
Think
you
about it.
go. Yes, and apparently, by the way, interesting side note, it's not just a toupee, it's not just a
No,
wig.
I was
It's
gonna
a
ask you to
very
tell me about that.
fine mesh made with Indian human hair that has been dyed to the appropriate color.
And then
It's a hair system.
it's like a
hair
weave
system,
that
right.
is glued onto your head, and then they put real hair through the different holes.
Do you
and
ever
then,
have to take it off?
You know,
then?
every 2 months you go in and you get it re-glued on.
Well, you know what? I look at you and I cannot tell that's fake hair. You're beautiful. That's for the radio people.
She's just getting hers maintenance.
I try not to, because I do a lot of political posts on my Facebook, which, if people follow them, the world would be
No
a better
Trump
place.
bashing this episode.
But I did feel Psy was a collective experience, and I made some fun.
Right.
And I put hair today, gone tomorrow. I
love that.
Okay.
And then rest in hair peace.
Oh.
Both beautiful epitaphs. I cannot say any more.
All right.
Right. Blake, question, please.
Yes, we spoke of the coronavirus. So what has been the worst epidemic since the year 2000?
Oh, I know.
I know. Do you know? You don't. If you know, you don't say. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take a break where we run the oodles of commercials that this show attracts, and then we come back
Okay.
and we'll reveal the answer. Because that way you stay tuned.
You won't tell me in between?
So Wow Report on Radio, Andy.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
And we're back. I'm Fenton, here with our very super duper special guest, Nora Burns.
Hello.
In town performing.
Yay.
This weekend? All this weekend? When
Yes, all Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Casita del Campo.
Love
Yes.
it. You're in Los Angeles.
I know.
Some of
I
the
love
best
being in
entertainment.
LA.
I saw Love Connie there last week.
Aw.
Laughed my ass off. Yeah.
All right.
Disinfect the dressing room if Love Connie was
We know that dressing room so well. Oh my God, being in that dressing room with John back in the day. Oh my God. How many times did I have to see the back view of dicks tucked between legs?
Love
you
Connie Tux? I didn't know.
If you had taken pictures, that would be a coffee table book.
At work.
That I haven't seen yet.
So before the break, we had a question, Blake.
Yes, we spoke of the coronavirus, which
Yeah.
is careening towards us right now. What is the worst epidemic since the year 2000?
Well, I don't think it's Ebola.
No.
No.
It's Donald Trump.
Yes.
I'm wondering, and I don't think
SARS?
it was. I'm thinking maybe it was like that avian flu that was like in 2004. No.
Herpes?
H1N1, the swine flu from South America, infected 2 billion people.
Wow.
Well, this was
Apparently
this.
not.
This says it was the 2009 flu pandemic. It killed, I think, 203,000
Just the regular old
people.
flu.
250,000?
203,000.
Well, you were thinking probably the 1950s back. You
No,
remember?
honey,
You remember?
post-
You remember that
2000.
like it was yesterday. It was, you're getting confused.
All right, so we're counting down to top 10 things that made us go,
Wow.
We've reached 1098. Number 7.
Number 7.
It's been a dark week. Lots of bad news. So I try to focus on what's positive.
I love that.
And I saw this little article. I'm not usually one that goes for these things, but in Biloxi, Mississippi, you also don't hear a lot of good things coming from Biloxi, Mississippi in general. You know what I'm saying? It's a little thing. But there is a Home to Suites by Hilton, which is like long-term hotels.
Extended stay.
Extended stay, thank you, for military, and there's business and industry down there. And the head of the hotel, the manager, has created a adopt a doggy foster guest. Oh. So you go to the hotel. They've got with the animal shelter. You can pick a dog to live with you while you're staying there. And something like they've done this since October 2018, and something like 40-something dogs have been adopted full time.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That's like those cat cafes.
Yes, but a long stay.
Yeah.
Tom is a big aficionado of the cat
Keep
cafe.
talking about dogs. I'm really branching out, I think. It's not a lot to talk about other than what a great idea.
The pictures are beautiful. They made me, I saw it on Facebook for some reason, and the pictures made me cry. Just these dogs in these hotel rooms, just looking
Wrapped in the hotel bathrobe. You know, they're very comfy.
Oh my God.
Well, and I love how you get to like test out if a dog will work with you.
I think every
for
hotel
longer
should
than
offer this option.
Me too.
Right?
It makes you wonder, like, what other businesses could you like?
Well,
Like entertainment in businesses that could have dogs come every day.
I've been shopping for a mattress, and I know like some high end hotels do like mattresses, but why don't like Days Inn could like team up with Casper mattress or something.
Oh,
so
so
you
you
know that you like a Casper mattress, and then you'll go out and buy one.
Right, but by the time you've stayed in a hotel like 6 times and tried out 6 mattresses,
Right.
you've like
Yeah.
Bought a mattress,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know
Especially
if
with
you'd
your
want
bladder issue.
But I'm
to
just saying
take
if you're
a
like
mattress
out
from a
and-
hotel because who knows how many
not
other
buy it
Do you
from
know
the
they say
hotel.
mattresses get stolen from hotels?
I believe. Well, I believe like when you.
No, I heard that like one of the main things that get stolen from hotels are
How
mattresses.
do they get them
How-
out the
exactly.
door?
Well, that's
I
more of a
imagine-
motel, I think. That's more if you
No,
parked in front of
hotel.
the door. No.
No, hotels.
Okay.
Oh, like
Yeah.
it's down through the desk and past the
hotel.
past the front desk.
Oh no, I'm just a hunchback.
You stick
Like,
it up
I
your
don't-
ass,
yeah.
and when you get outside, you
Because
pull it
I-
out.
I mean, I've had some experiences in motel rooms that get a little crazy, and you think, let's take this lamp home with me, and I can see like on day 3 where that might be a something that
There's a light shining out of your ass as you leave.
Yeah.
James is wearing a lovely eyeglass chain, which could have been part of a lamp, for all I know. A hotel
Right?
lamp. Yeah.
It's a chain on a lamp. I go to.
As if I pull, you light up or something. Oh.
Anyway, so if you're in Biloxi, stay at this fabulous Hilton. It's called, again, a Home to Suites. I love all their little names.
Now, Biloxi's on the Redneck Riviera, and there is a gambling boat there.
I didn't know any of that.
Yes, I've stayed in Biloxi before.
All right.
And it was also it was also the Biloxi Blues with Matthew Broderick on Broadway.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, so I was underselling Biloxi. Biloxi's a great place.
No,
And,
we did the Nellies toured down in Biloxi when we went to Mobile and Biloxi, and they took us
Mobile.
on these weird tours of like old gay, like literally speakeasies that were down there. And
There's
you know, it was
a
really
documentary
interesting.
called Small Town Gay Bar, I think.
It was
and
very
yes,
that.
And it's all about those southern little
Yeah.
holes in the wall.
There was like someone with a big beehive who'd been like running a
there
gay
since the
bar.
40s.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, will you play Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man by Loretta Lynn on the way out and Conway Twitty, and I'll spare you from singing it. Is that fair? Okay.
All right, then, number 6.
Number 6.
Number 6, you were talking about how a lot of bad news, and I just want to bring it down for a minute because I want to pay tribute to a couple people. I don't know if you guys read this in the paper, but there was sort of in the national news last week about the 2 socialites who died, and when they were on a ferry going to Fisher Island from Miami.
In Florida, yes.
In Florida, and they were on the ferry, and they were the first parked there. And
Tons of cars just get
Tons of
on.
cars.
Every day it
Yeah.
happens like...
Goes back and forth,
Yep.
back and forth 100 times a day.
Yep.
And they were the first in the row, and there was only a cloth netting to separate them, from the thing. And they think the woman's name, the first woman was Emma Afra was her name, and the other was Vivian Brahms. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And Emma Afra was a big socialite in Miami. Vivian Brahms was a New York socialite. And they think that what happened was that they put it in neutral instead of
By mistake.
And then when
So
it
you just
worked,
sit in your car.
you were sitting in the car. So the car goes off into the ocean, down the 100 feet, 50
Horrifying.
feet, whatever it was, and it
so
fills up with
grotesque,
water.
right?
And they were saying that, it's one of the worst ways that I always think about that, where, the water is filling up in the car and you can't roll down the window because of the water pressure. You can't open the door because of the water pressure. And so you have to wait for the water to fill all the way up. And by that time, there's no air left. And they, when they found the bodies, they said that they were in the back seat because the car had turned up and the air was there, and they were embraced and they were hugging each other as they died. And the thing is that I'm bringing it up now and I'm talking about it is because Vivian Brahms was married to Maurice Brahms, who was the club owner who owned Red Zone, Underground, La Place de Beauté,
my
where
God.
RuPaul got her start. So I knew Vivian I worked for her. She was, because when Steve Rubell and Ian Schrager from Studio 54 were arrested and put into prison for the IRS scam, they rounded up all the club owners at the time, and Maurice Brahms was put into prison with them.
Oh,
and
really?
yes, and when he came out, he wasn't allowed to get liquor licenses or club. He wasn't allowed to. So Vivian had to be the liquor license and the club. So she was the true owner, and so she was the true boss. And Maurice was sort of an asshole, but God bless him. But whatever. I mean, he was a
What a touching story.
no. But my point is that Vivian was a lovely, lovely woman, just gentle and fashionable as all get out. She was so chic, And
It's kind of a chic way to go, I've got to say.
Well, I guess so.
Something kind of glamorous about it.
It
a
is-
little Chappaquiddick-ish.
Yes. I
It
want to
is.
work in Splash, but I don't want to.
But it's just I just wanted to sort of pay tribute to these two women and just that it was a personal story for me
Yeah.
and that it's something that sort of it upset. And I went immediately because I saw Vivian Brahms tonight. And I went onto my Instagram and Facebook, and every club person had a story and was sort of talking about what a wonderful woman she was. So Emma Afra and Vivian Brahms.
Rest in power.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Hard segue here. Grasshoppers.
Okay.
It's never easy to talk about grasshoppers. And
drink
thank you for
or the
being
bug?
brave enough. Thank
thought
you.
I'd spit it out.
Thank you.
Is this the video that I saw recently in Egypt or?
Well, there was actually just recently. Yes, you're right. There was a plague of locusts
Yes,
recently
I saw that.
turned the sky black.
Oh, it was terrible.
But this is actually a story here in LA. This past weekend, I went with Nolan and Elliot to. Have you ever been to Guelaguetza?
I don't
It's
even know what that
a
is.
Mexican restaurant towards downtown. It's painted sort of brilliant orange on the outside, and it specializes in Oaxaca, which is Oaxaca.
Oh,
Oaxaca cuisine, and they sell grasshoppers there. So I walk in, and it's a great restaurant, and it won a James Beard Foundation award. So it's one of those sort of. It's not a sort of Egan. It's not a. What are those stars called that they give?
Michelin.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's not a Michelin star, but the James Beard Foundation gives the most amazing restaurants these things. So I went there and I walked in and they said, "Oh, are you here to try the grasshoppers?" And I, being very sort of naive, thought they meant grasshopper shakes.
The drink.
grasshopper
Yeah.
pie. Yes, like
Yeah.
chocolate milk with
Yeah.
mint in.
Yes.
So I thought that'd be great.
Creme
for
de
the
menthe.
kids.
Yeah, a little creme de
And
menthe.
I
Yeah,
was
it's a grasshopper, isn't it? I remember trying it when I was 10.
So I said, yeah, yes. So we order, and I order some grasshoppers. And then they said, would you like a full order or a half order? I think that's odd for a milkshake. So I say a half order. Well, lo and behold, actual plate of grasshoppers arrived.
Well, the kids had to have loved that, really.
Well, I think Nolan was a little embarrassed and cross with me for being such an idiot, not knowing that it wasn't a grasshopper
Because you have to know
milkshake.
that his son Nolan, who is now 13,
Yeah.
and is
the
a,
most
a big,
sophisticated-
is a sophisticated foodie, and
Yes.
very much yes.
Very sophisticated.
But having ordered
As
them,
is Elliot at 5.
and I could tell the waiter kind of rolled his eyes. Oh, we got a gringo here, like you've come for the grasshoppers. And I was like, I had to, I couldn't leave without trying them.
Sure.
Or hiding them at least.
They were really good. They were really good. I've seen Fear Factor. I've seen all those shows where they make you eat revolting things.
Well,
like
they're
fried-
raw on those shows. So.
Suppose
How
that's
were they
true.
Wait,
prepared?
were these fried?
They were fried.
Well,
They
everything's
were
been fried.
They were quite spicy. They
With
were
a batter?
They
It's
were
good fried and
they
spicy.
were just fried in sort of olive
Crunchy?
oil with lime. They had a crunch and a texture, but they were really delicious. And I don't know if you knew this, but in 2008, the UN World Congress has started to promote 1,400 types of edible bugs to help end hunger.
Why
so
not?
I was really eating a superfood of the future.
They are chock full of proteins, right? That's the
And
thing.
they were really kind of good. And then it turned out that this restaurant, Guelaguetza, is basically the only place in LA you can go order grasshoppers. And it is actually known for the grasshoppers.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, we went to a place and they had chocolate-covered grasshoppers,
Right.
and they had chocolate-covered ants and things that we all tried. But I do believe that it is the future, and they say cockroaches too are the superfood of the future.
So you'll eat
Vegetarian.
bugs, but you won't.
Are you really?
You'll eat bugs,
my
but you
life.
won't eat pickles.
And bugs count as animals.
Oh, absolutely.
Just checking.
Well, wait, is
Are
it?
you vegan?
No, I'm not vegan, but I've been vegetarian all my life. My kids have been vegetarian.
So that would
all their
rule
life.
out grasshoppers.
It would rule
yeah.
out grasshoppers.
How about grass?
Jiminy Cricket.
How about just grass?
How about cockroach milk? Because James did a fascinating piece
Oh.
where they actually milk cockroaches.
It takes so much
Little
time.
tiny nipples, little tiny roach nipples.
Did the boys try them at least? Your boys?
Elliot did not, but Nolan did.
And what do you think?
He thought it was okay.
It's all the flavoring. That's nice.
I mean, it's super spicy.
After you had your half order, did you like it so much that you said, "Waiter, more grasshoppers," and hop to it? I don't know I'm
Wow.
compelled.
I think he's auditioning here for
Spirit-
Unitard. Is
the
what's happening.
spirit of my father comes through me and just makes the worst puns. I can't help
Punster.
it. I can't help it.
So good.
That was for Hal
That
Campbell.
was such a dad joke.
I'm not gonna try and add to that. Blake, have you got a question for us?
I do. Grasshoppers are usually about an inch long and can jump about a meter. If humans could jump as far as grasshoppers do relative to size, how far could they leap?
A meter. Okay.
So I'll
We'll
give
be
you
doing
some
math
options.
during the break.
The length of 4 cars, A. The length of 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools, B. Or the length of a football field, size, C.
Very good. Very good question. All right, we'll take a break while we figure this out, and we'll be right back on the Wow Report Radio. Andy.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
And welcome back to the Wow Report here on Radio Andy.
Oh my God, there's been some serious outline math happening. I'm sorry. Wow.
Blake, what was the question?
I asked, grasshoppers are usually about an inch long and can jump about a meter. If humans could jump as far as grasshoppers do relative to size, how far could they leap? A, the length of 4 cars. B, the length of 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools. C, the length of a football field.
Well, I'm just going. I'm going to say first. I'm going to say the Olympic swimming pool, B, and I think that you guys have different answers.
Okay. I'm going to say C, the football field. That's kind of what we...
And you did the whole math, like
We did the math.
1 inch for grasshopper,
yeah.
39 inches for so
With a
6
meter
feet
is
times
also-
39
Yeah.
would be a football field.
But
That's
here's
what
the
we like.
thing. An Olympic swimming pool is 25 meters. I think
Meters.
you're right, James. I think it's B.
Oh, it could
What is it?
be. Okay.
It's C.
Well done, Nora. Nora, you are our special guest, and you got the
win.
answer right. You win
Yeah.
absolutely
Well, my
nothing.
son's studying for SAT tests now, so it's all like...
Wow.
I think that inch meters thing is a little
yeah,
underhanded,
that
mixing
was-
up your
I know.
measurement.
Well, we are listened to in the U.S. and the U.K. on
that's
our
right. We're an
on
international
YouTube.
show.
Yeah.
International, baby.
Yeah, well, that's Blake.
Hi.
I'm Fenton. Here's James and Tom and Nora.
Hi.
Okay, we've been counting down the top 10 things that make us go wow.
Wow.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Well, Little Shop of Horrors.
It's back.
What'd you
It's
call it?
coming back.
Suddenly
You know,
Seymour.
I know you know that earlier this. I've seen 2 productions of it. One was here at the Pasadena Playhouse
Pasadena, yeah.
with MJ Rodriguez playing the Ellen Green role. It's playing in New York. It's a huge hit. Jeremy Jordan's coming into it.
Wait, wasn't Andrew Rannells or someone in it?
No, it was Darren Criss.
Oh yeah,
And
And
right.
Vicky
Maybe.
Vox on
I get them all confused. All the Glee
Oh
people.
yeah, Vicky Vox did it in London. Remember,
Yes.
she was the
Yes.
plant. She was fantastic.
But they're remaking the movie, which was made in 1986. A classic movie.
It was actually based on a 1964 Roger Corman movie with Jack
Correct.
Nicholson.
And there's lots of casting rumors. Lady Gaga was supposed to be doing
Audrey.
I think that's fallen away.
It did, yes.
And now it's Scarlett Johansson.
Which is interesting because you can't really. I don't get the victim that Audrey. You know,
Ellen
Audrey.
Green.
Yeah, the character is an abused woman who has an abusive, crazy boyfriend,
Right.
and she finds love with a shop
But
owner.
that's going to all change up with this whole Me Too era.
Probably.
And they're casting kind of more hunky people as...
Yeah, who plays the Rick Moranis role?
Right now, they're saying Taron Egerton.
Well, that's just weird because you have to because
I did change that.
no because once again the character of Seymour is like the schlubby underdog,
Right.
and I don't get underdog vibes from Taron at all. He's a winner.
I
He's
think
one
you're
of life's
forgetting
winners.
one key component.
Hollywood.
Acting.
I do think one of the most interesting things that I've heard is that Billy Porter might play the plant.
Supposedly as the voice of the plant.
Yeah.
Although with the way that Billy Porter is not afraid to express himself through dress, maybe we can have the first live action plant where Billy Porter is the plant.
Well, that's how Vicky
Fabulous.
was. That's what Vicky.
Oh,
Vicky was
really?
dressed as a plant who was bigger and bigger and bigger, and that might be the way to go.
That's the way to
It's
go.
being directed by Greg Berlanti.
Who in
my
this
God.
wait therein lies the problem.
Oh.
And I got to say only because I love Greg Berlanti, I love
Yes.
everything he does. I love
Very
all his CW
successful.
shows. The Love Simon, he's great. But Greg Berlanti, like Ryan Murphy, is enamored with pretty people. He loves the beautiful
What is
people.
wrong with that? Like, like you aren't.
No.
I mean-
But I'm not in charge of Hollywood, and I'm not doing a play
You
about
are,
Skid,
baby.
But I'm not doing a play about Skid Row and underdogs and everything like that. That requires people like Audrey, or who is the green girl who did
Ellen Green,
Ellen
Audrey.
Green,
Yes.
Rick Moranis, and all those people. Like, yeah, doing this play with beautiful people, I'm interested because the other beautiful person is Chris Evans, who was just signed on to play the
Rumored
dentist.
to sign on the dentist, who was played by Steve
is-
Martin in the movie. Chris Evans, who's one of the Chris's, he's the Chris Pines, the Chris thing, and I didn't realize he had the gay brother, so he's part of the family.
We're doing a Chris Evans. We're doing an Evans brother tribute
Yeah.
today.
He's not the first person that pops into mind. Again.
Right, exactly. Because
But-
Jack Nicholson played that part in the original movie, and then Steve Martin played it in the
Isn't
musical.
it just about a plant that eats people?
It is, but it's much more, darling.
No,
It's-
having seen it, because MJ Rodriguez, a trans woman from Pose, played the Audrey. And it's about people who are cast out by society. Audrey and
life's losers
Yes.
who
How
come
they
together.
go- oh.
and the Rick Moranis character, what's his Seymour
Seymour.
finds a plant that brings him all this fame, but it also sucks literally
It-
the
it
life
literally-
out of
You
them.
start
liter-
feeding crickets to the plant.
Yeah,
Ah!
And
but
then
it
gets
literally
coronavirus
takes
and-
life
It's okay
blood.
I
if a
love the way-
vegetable eats a plant. I mean, a vegetable eats an animal.
But the metaphor is that fame literally sucks the life and blood out of it. You have to bleed for your fame.
But they had a lot of trouble with the ending of the movie. They were afraid it was a downer ending, and they tried to sort of cover it up. When I saw the stage play, it's so beautiful because there's that song "Somewhere That's Green" where Ellen Green thinks about the
Pine
suburbs and the
cold,
thing.
pine swamp
And
scented
when she
place.
finally is devoured by the plant at the
Spoiler
end,
alert, I guess.
Yeah, and we will forget. In front of Seymour, she's like, "Okay," she goes, "Let me go because I'll be somewhere that's green," because she wants the plant to
Soylent.
eat her so
Yeah.
that his dream can continue. And it's kind of beautiful.
Yeah, no, it is. It's
So
a beautiful play.
I'm looking forward to it.
and some of the most beautiful music that's ever been written.
And I just have to say, Ellen Green, who had the opportunity of working for a little tiny bit, who would have thought that woman would have turned herself into, it's like that. What she looks like as a person.
she's like Seymour.
But her persona that she took on, and really still, I think recently she and Jake Gyllenhaal did like a performance of it for a while. I mean, she did. That is her part forever and ever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Number 3, James.
Number 3.
Oh, I'm switching things up. What did you think I was going to do?
Don't know. Well, it says here Katie Keene on
Well,
the
I'm not going to
CW.
do Katie Keene
No,
at all.
not at all.
No.
I've changed my
For
mind.
those
Okay.
who want to know, Katie Keene episodes are available to stream on the CW on Fridays.
I don't want to know.
Forget about all that. I want to bring it back down again.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why
I
you're
want to
here.
talk
Please.
about
God.
no, because we have a leitmotif going here with all the deaths that are happening, and I wanted to mention that baby Peggy died over the weekend.
May I speak for the audience listening? Who's baby Peggy?
I'm glad you asked because Baby Peggy is the last silent movie star from the 19 teens and 20s. She was the most famous star in the world from 1921 to 1925.
Wait,
when
how is she still alive?
Listen, she was 3 years
I
old.
can't
when,
do the math.
listen, she was 3 years old when she started. When she
Oh,
became the
okay,
most
all right,
famous
all
woman
right.
in the world. She starred in over
Woman.
150 movies. She was 101 years old. She was known as the child wonder and the cutest kid on the screen and the $1 million baby.
Wow. That bitch Shirley Temple came along and
Yes.
knocked her out.
Well, listen, it's sort of a sad story because by the age of 2, she was in the movies already, okay, and she was earning more money than her father. And during her movie career, she published a book when she was 6 that was a bestseller. She was the New York Times said she received 1.7 million pieces of fan mail a year. Wow. She appeared at the 1924 Democratic National Convention for Franklin D. Roosevelt. She helped him secure the nomination. She also was expected to work 6 days a week, 8 hours a day, every day at that age.
Of course.
And they were saying at that time that there were no stunt people or anything like that. So in one of her movies, she was held underwater until she passed out
Yeah.
at age 3.
Good.
Another time, she was thrown from the back of a truck a moving truck. She was tied to a goat one time, and the goat dragged her around. Another time, and you can't believe this, aged 3 years old, she
So shut up, Uma Thurman.
right? She's supposed to be in a burning building.
Yes.
So they set the set on. They doused it in kerosene. They doused all the props. Set her in the middle, lit it on fire, and had her find her way out of a burning building.
Make those kids
at the
work.
time.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Said from the mother on the panel.
When she was 3, she was so rich that they bought a house in Beverly Hills. She was worth $4 million, which in the 1920s was a lot of money. But then her relative stole it all from her, and her father was really sort of a hard person to deal with, and so the studios didn't want to deal with her. By the age of 5 or 6, she was already a has-been. And then, so her career was ended. She was able, after the Wall Street crash, she was able to do some extra work between 1932 and 1938. And then she eloped with a guy, and then she married another guy. But she ended up having this long, incredible life afterwards. She wrote a number of books in the 1960s and 70s about the silent movie era, in which people were just beginning to rediscover. And so she was one of the people who helped bring back the silent movie era. But unfortunately, in 1926, there was a huge fire at MGM, and every single one of those 150 movies is gone. There is no legacy for this woman.
That happened to the Pussycat Dolls.
What?
What happened to the Pussycat Dolls?
The big fire. They
At
lost all their
Universal,
masters.
Some of the masters of the Pussycat Dolls were lost. But
Oh.
I still
Way
have
to-
my
way to
CDs.
take it
I still
away.
have my CDs.
Poor baby Peggy here has been hijacked by the Nicole Scherzinger. Great.
But imagine you haven't had a career in 100 years. Like
Well,
that's
she did go on to work at
kinda like Lady
UCLA
Bunny.
in like book publishing and like things like that. I mean, she ended up doing sort of a great sort of research.
So all
like,
the movies are lost? Like
Yeah.
there are no copies or
No,
no
there-
DVDs or
because
videotapes?
the
that's her in her 90s.
but if the
great.
fire was in the
Gorgeous.
20s, they didn't have any way to preserve.
Oh,
Right,
Yeah.
and that's like
That
they
is
talk about.
crazy.
It was all
Yeah.
on nitrate, and it would dissolve,
Right.
and so it
Right.
caught fire just like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Explosive.
Like the first season of Drag Race. All on nitrates now.
But that's her.
Amyl
She was just
nitrates.
absolutely
What
adorable.
a
Oh,
cutie
my
patootie.
Cutie,
Yeah.
cutie,
It's
like
cutie.
Jackie
So how old
Coogan.
was she when she passed? I'm sorry, James.
101, and
Wow.
that's how great she looked
She
until
looks
the end.
Elegant.
She looks like the
Gorgeous.
queen.
In fact, the retirement home, the movie retirement home,
Yeah.
offered her a place, and she said that no, she would rather. That was another lifetime ago, and she didn't need it. And,
Wow.
yeah, just interesting woman.
Very.
Number 2, things that make us go wow.
Number 2.
Macaulay Culkin,
Another child
Wow.
star.
another child star,
Okay.
star of Party Monster, plays Michael Ehrlich in Party Monster.
And the podcaster, Bunny Ears podcast, that
Yes.
people should listen to. It's hysterical.
Bunnyears.com, which is really good. He gave an interview to Esquire recently, and he hasn't given an interview in a long time. In
Wait, what's the name of
even
the
done,
magazine?
Like a photo shoot.
Esquire.
What's the name of the
Esquire.
magazine?
Esquire.
Esquire is what you said.
Esquire.
Esquire.
Whatever, darling. It sounds very good. I want to buy a puppy now.
Fabulous interview. They're like, why is he doing this? He hasn't done a photo shoot. He isn't promoting anything at all. It said
Well,
in the
not
article.
true.
Well, but he wasn't at the time
Right.
that the article came out.
Or did he
I
know?
know it's all a brilliant, clever
What is
postmodern
it?
plot because
Now it was just announced today that
Today.
he's joining American Horror Story season 10.
Season 10. Can you imagine there's been 10 of them?
yeah.
Oh, I felt every one of them. But God bless, he might reinvigorate the.
No,
it
I
feels like a
really
ch-
think
yeah.
this is a huge. It feels like Macaulay Culkin has become the person he wanted to be, and the article is so great, and it's just so.
read it.
He says, look, he says there's a great moment in the interview. I'll read it to you. He says, look, I'm a pretty peerless person. If I was an accountant, I could look left and right, and there's other accountants sitting next to me in the office. It's not like that. It's like we're all snowflakes. We're all unique. Well, you know what? I actually am the snowflake. And he is. I mean,
Well-
he doesn't have a lot of
Elizabeth
as
Taylor-
growing up. Yes.
Elizabeth Taylor and Michael Jackson and Liza Minnelli were his peers,
Right.
and they're gone. I mean, like he doesn't
And
have.
he's navigated this child stardom, this very unusual child stardom world. I think
Beautifully,
brilliantly.
yeah.
Yes.
And
Right.
he talks. I read the excerpt where he says, I am in a place where I don't have to do anything if I don't. I have a beautiful home.
Yes.
I have a girlfriend I love. I don't have to go out. I am completely happy. My life is absolutely perfect. And not many child
nice to know
stars.
that.
Yeah, not many child stars have
Because
had
I think we
that.
all think he's not doing so well. but-
Oh no, he's doing great.
Yeah.
He says actually, this is the two things I will share. One is he said, what was it? He says, I've been accused of having a drug problem, but nothing could be further from the truth. Drugs are the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. It's kind of brilliant. And he says, okay, he really says that, I drink and I smoke, but I do not have a drug problem. And he says, another thing he said is, I've had a lot of fun without being happy, and I've been happy without necessarily having fun. You can have it all, just don't confuse the two, because it's easy to.
Nice.
He's so kooky and wise, and
Wait, the whole Pizza Underground thing where he did all the he had a band that performed nothing but Velvet Underground songs, but changing it to be about pizza. Like every song would be, instead of Femme Fatale, it was a sliced gal or something.
Well, my friend Billy Hopkins discovered him when he was 5 or 6 years old, and I remember going to the show at EST, this off Broadway theater in New York, and seeing it was a little one act, and Billy was like, you have to come and see this kid. And it was about an ice cream man, and Macaulay was the little kid who was interacting with the ice cream man, and we were all like, wow, that kid's amazing. And
lo and behold,
he was.
I will say that we talk about how he doesn't have any peers. Spending time with him, the way people react to him, I've met a lot of famous people in my life, and I've never seen the jaw drop open that he talks about. It was 9 years old before he realized that not everybody experienced that people, the look of shock on their face and the jaw dropping open. He thought that's just how people met other people.
Yeah.
And the only other person I've ever seen get that reaction is Monica Lewinsky. And people give that same shocked, jaw drop open, like poking your neighbor, like that same sort of like you're seeing an actual legend walk past. Wow. And it must have been hard for him to come to
grow up with only knowing that.
Yeah. But to come through it with such flying colors as he has.
Exactly. I mean, I was so sort of moved and proud reading the interview. And there's another funny moment in the interview where he actually auditioned after not auditioning for many years for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He says, it was a disaster. I wouldn't have hired me. I'm terrible at auditioning anyway. It's like,
and why should he have to? Why would you? Exactly. Know his work.
Right. So he was up for the Squeaky Fromm role, so.
I still haven't seen the movie.
Oh my gosh!
What?
Yeah, You're building this building's in it.
Yeah, I was speaking to someone today who thinks. Well, anyway, that's a whole nother show.
Oh,
a whole nother topic.
Okay.
We've linked to the interview with Macaulay Culkin on the Wow Report. Hey guys, Drag Race season 12 premieres tonight. Who's the special guest?
VH1. Nicki Minaj. The girls will be rapping with Nicki Minaj. It's an amazing episode. Season 12.
Yeah. We'll be right back after the break. We'll reveal the number one thing that made us go, wow. What, Tom?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
No, I was just giving you the number. I was looking forward to the number one thing.
The number one thing. I'm not going to give it away.
No.
Because you stay tuned the whole show.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
I do want to give something just to the people on the YouTube. We'll cut this out for radio here. But there's a famous story about Shelley Winters that I think Tom probably knows, where late in her career, she was asked to audition, and she was furious, and she kept saying, "Are you sure?" And that her agent said, "Yes, you have to bring a headshot and a resume, and then you have to audition." And she went into the headshot with a bag, and she carried it in. She walked in very slowly, and she said, "Here is my headshot," and she pulled out an Oscar and put it on the table, and she said, "And here is my resume," and she pulled out her second Oscar, and she said, "And that's my audition," and she walked out.
Did she get the mark?
She did.
So brilliant.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. I'm Fenton, here with Tom and James and Blake and our extra special guest, Nora Burns.
Welcome.
And it just so happens that the number one thing that made us go wow this week is
Number one.
Nora Burns. So we're going to talk about you, or maybe you should talk about yourself.
Okay.
No pressure.
Okay. What do you want to hear about?
Well, we were talking before as you walked in about how I remember you from Arian Palladium and everything like that, and your great friend David Burns, who you both chose the same name for yourself. It's your chosen name.
Well, it actually is my last name, and he changed his name.
David was your best friend, and Fenton, you'll remember this. There were just a number of boys at Area who had that star quality. They were just the beauties. They were the most beautiful boys you will ever see in your life. Those 80s boys, and Warhol, they would flutter around them all. And David was one of those. And in my mind, he is still there, fluttering around, and he was such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful man, and one of the nicest people. And but he did not make it past the 90s.
Yep.
And you've written a play about him.
Yeah, I started developing it about 4 years ago, and I think it is that weird thing where, those of us who were from back in the day, we lost so many people so fast, and we were young, and we were overwhelmed, and we sort of just had to keep going. And then I think it was only about 4 years ago. It just so happened it was like his birthday, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to post this picture of David on Facebook. And I did, and all of a sudden, just this insane rush of like everything came back. And I was like, okay, I have to, because I have everything of his. I have all the letters, I have the photo albums, I have all his clothes, I have everything of his. And so I was just like, well, what do I do with this? And I was like, well, what I do is I do shows. So I was like, okay, I'll try to do just a show, but I hate self-indulgent shows. I was like, it's not going to be self-indulgence. It's not going to be like a PowerPoint story of his life. How can it be kind of something that's entertaining and funny, which is what I like to do, but also like a tribute to him. And so working with this amazing director, Adrian Truscott, and all these people, Len Whitney from Boy Bar did videos,
and
Connie
Lucy
Girl did the
Lucy Sexton
costumes.
does the dramaturgy.
Lucy was my dramaturg. Her boyfriend Tal Yarden did more other videos, and my friend Billy Huff is in it, my co-star in it. So it really sort of became this thing, and then and we started at Dixon Place, and I workshopped it around, and then La Mama commissioned it, and so we did it there, and it wound up getting like a really good review in the Times. So we, extended it, and then though it was, I've got to say, it was a very emotionally taxing thing to do, and so we all sort of had like, we stopped after. It could have kept going for longer, but we're like, okay, let's stop it, and we'll just kind of keep, so I'll do it now here and there, like I'll do it in LA or New York, but
it really did strike, and it's amazing to hear you tell that story about posting that picture and this sort of, because there is like that moment of lightning strikes, and suddenly everything is almost there, fully formed, and it's like, it'll never leave you, and it's almost a classic. I mean, it's this sort of this amazing thing, and hearing you talk about it is so beautiful and powerful.
And there is, I mean, we all, everyone at this table here, experienced that feel. We all have been through it, and we all have those friends that will never leave us, and it's a whole generation of people, of artists and friends, and
I think getting older, as our things sort of winnow away, and you don't have that energy of still meeting like hundreds of new people constantly, and all of a sudden you go, oh my God, but Mark's not here anymore, and I can't, you realize who's gone, and so. It's that loss, but also he was, an amazing person. You're like, who would he have been? What would our friendship have been now? I would have loved him to see me now, or.
I mean, just the other day, sort of very unrelated thing, but Andy Warhol was a sort of personal inspiration. Died. It was been 33 years since he died. And I was like, fuck, I'm older than Andy Warhol. And Andy Warhol was as old as fuck.
He was an old man. He was old when he was 30.
I know, right? So it's like it's a sobering thing, but it also makes me think the only thing to do is just keep going. It's always about
exactly.
Going,
So I just want to say that I am filming this. My friends Todd and P. David, who just made the Pierre Cardin documentary. They're filming so one of the things, I'm out here for Unitard, but then I'm also staying, and Tuesday we're doing it at Casita, free taping if anyone wants to come at 7:30. Tuesday. Next Tuesday, what is that, March 3rd. It's Super Tuesday.
It is March 3rd. Oh, yes.
So vote and then come to Casita
good
to
to
see
know.
All
David's
right.
friend.
That will be marvelous.
What's the name of the piece again?
David's friend.
David's friend.
Yeah.
Nora, thank you so much for joining
thank
us.
you
You
for
have
having
made us
me.
go wow, 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 wow,
It was
wow.
so fun.
It's
It was
been
so fun to be
absolutely
here.
Marvelous. Thank you, Tom. Thank you,
pleasure.
James. I don't always say thank you to you, but I love you both very much.
You don't, I've never noticed. Now I have to pay attention that you
Well,
don't
and
think
David
me.
is the reason I know you guys. Like, he introduced me to RuPaul, and he was like, when RuPaul was doing Star Booty, and I was writing for paper, and he was like, you have to write about my friend Ru. He's so great. And so yeah.
When isn't Rue doing Star Booty? He's always working on Star Booty.
I know.
Right?
All right. So thanks for tuning in to the WoW Report of DragCon LA 2020. I will just let you know it's May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. RuPaul's DragCon.com tickets are available. See you there. Okay. Until same time, same place next week.
Let's do it.
Okay. Till then, go out and do something that makes the world go
Wow!